Hey there, Chris Wells here, and I'm dead excited for today's tutorial as it explores cinematic trickery at its best with the Dolly Zoom. Also known as the Vertigo Effect or Zolly, this is something far better shown than explained with pesky words. Originally used in the Hitchcock film Vertigo to depict Scotty Ferguson's fear of heights, this filming technique has evolved in various ways across different films, showing ever-increasing paranoia,
Tailed. He was jumpy. He hadn't touched a thing.
highlighting characters' isolation amidst a massive city. Almost famously, the terror of a shark attack. So to learn how to film a dolly zoom, you first need to understand how different focal lengths affect the space of your shot. Let me show you what I mean. As you can see from these two shots of Jigsaw, if you look at the edges of the cars as reference, you see that the backgrounds look completely different, because when you zoom in, you compress the space of your shot, often creating that blurred background bokeh that you often see in films. This is also true for the opposite, which is why everything looks more in focus when you use wide-angle lenses, as well as you see more of the shot. Chris from the future here, just wanted to clarify that that is a super basic overview of what can affect focus. Other things like aperture can affect that as well, but that's not really within the scope of this video. But I wanted to just say that focus isn't just affected by the zoom. So if you change the zoom while keeping the framing the same by physically moving the camera, you adjust that spatial depth in real time, creating that awesome effect. Now I did that handheld just to show the effect. It's normally achieved on like a rig that allows smooth movement, like a slider pictured here, or a dolly, hence the name. But let's say you only have the camera movement part of the dolly zoom. Could you in theory use a post-production zoom to create your own Zolly? Why yes you can, and let's boot up Lightworks and I'll show you how. Okay, and here we are in Lightworks, and I've got a nice dolly shot right here, going backwards. And as you can see, the shot is going backwards, but we don't have that zoom. We have the dolly part, but not the zoom. So I'm going to show you how in software we can add in that zoom. And obviously, it's not going to have as good a resolution or as good quality as if we had done it in real life, but that's okay. So the first thing I'm going to do is go up here and press VFX, and that's going to reset my window so I've got a better layout to do some VFX. And the effect I need to use today is actually just the zoom effect. So I'm just going to drag, plonk that on to the clip here. Now we've got the zoom, so if I just add in the zoom, obviously, there we go, we're zoomed in. It doesn't really help. It's all about that movement. It needs to zoom in as it pulls out in order to create that dolly zoom effect. So in order to do that, I'm just going to undo what we've done there. I need to use some keyframes. So to activate a keyframe, we just press this button here, this little keyframe button here. And what a keyframe does, what I've said here is at the very start of this video, the zoom is at 1. And if I just play the whole video as is, nothing changes. But if I go to the very end, where it's more zoomed out, and then I go, right, the value at the end of the video, so it starts at 1, and at this point in the video, i.e. the very end, in fact, if I do that, we'll go to the very, very end, and back one. We've got the very, very end, and we want it to be more zoomed in, so let's just adjust the zoom to how we want. So it was kind of a mid shot, wasn't it? So, let's go back a bit. Let's go, in fact, you know what, I'm just going to, so I can either use the directional buttons to adjust or my mouse wheel, which I'm just going to use my mouse wheel. Yeah, let's do it there. That's if I go to the start, that's about where it is. And as you can already see, the quality is a lot worse because we've essentially zoomed into the frame. In fact, you can see it here. We've zoomed into the frame. So the actual frame looks like this, but we've basically cropped in to hopefully create that zoom effect. So now what I've done is I've now created a keyframe at the end that's at 5, and then a keyframe at the start that says it's 1. And then what this will do is it will interpolate the difference between 5 and 1. So if I play it just for a second, yeah, we got the effect. But now if I play it again, just watch this number here and you'll see the number goes up because it's trying to get to 5 by the time we get here. And that is essentially how the keyframes work. We can see this better if I go up to the keyframe button here, and as you'll see, this red line is actually just where we are on the timeline, so I can wiggle it. Sorry if that hurt you, guys. I can just wiggle it here. So as you can see, we've got 1, and at the end we've got 5. So there, if I just press play, you'll see that that's changed it on the keyframe. But let's say I wanted to go just really crazy. What I could do is, let's just go to the middle, and I could add another keyframe, and let's say if I put this keyframe like to 2, you'll see now that there's 3 keyframes, up to the midpoint it's going to go 1 to 2, and it's going to shoot all the way up to 5. So the first part is really slow, and as soon as it hits here, it's got to jump to 5 really quickly, like that. And that is essentially, so let me just undo that. Let's go to this keyframe here, and then to delete the keyframe, you just go to this button here, jump to the next keyframe, and press this little button here, remove the keyframe, bam, and there we go. Got a nice straight keyframe here, and now if I just play this, we have our dolly zoom effect. And in fact, as you watch, you can see the quality get worse and worse as it zooms into the frame. It gets really fuzzy. And that's everything you need to know to use keyframes to create your own post-production dolly zoom in Lightworks.